Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, entitled Creation, Chapter 10, Krishna's Departure to Dwaraka, text number 14. Nyarundhan Udgalad Vaspam Nyarundhan Udgalat Vaspam Autkantyad Devaki Sute Autkantyat Devaki Sute Niryati Agaran No Bhadram Niryati Agaran No Bhadram Iti Syad Bandhavastriyaha Iti Syad Bandhavastriyaha Nirundhan Udgalat Vaspam Autkanthya Devaki Sute Niryati Agara No Bhadram Iti Syad Bandhavastriyaha Nirundhan Udgalat Vaspam Autkanthya Devaki Sute Niryati Agara No Bhadram Iti Syad Bandhavastriyaha Nirundhan Udgalat Vaspam Autkanthya Devaki Sute Niryati Agara No Bhadram Iti Syad Bandhavastriyaha. Synonyms: Nirundhan, checking with great difficulty. Udgalat, overflowing. Vaspam, tears. Autkantyad, because of great anxiety. Devaki Sute, unto the son of Devaki. Niryati, having come out. Agarad, from the palace. Na, not. Abhadram, inauspiciousness. Iti, thus. Syad, may happen. Bandhava, relative. Striyaha, ladies. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The female relatives whose eyes were flooded with tears out of anxiety for Krishna came out of the palace. They could stop their tears only with great difficulty. They feared that tears would cause misfortune at the time of departure. Translation with repetition. The female relatives whose eyes were flooded with tears out of anxiety for Krishna came out of the palace. They could stop their tears only with great difficulty. They feared that tears would cause misfortune at the time of departure. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. I'm only not able to see my screen. There were hundreds of ladies in the palace of Hastinapura. All of them were affectionate to Krishna. All of them were relatives also. When they saw that Krishna was going away from the palace for his native place, they were very anxious for him, and as usual, tears began to roll down their cheeks. They thought at that same time that tears at that moment might be a cause of misfortune for Krishna. Therefore, they wanted to check them. This was very difficult for them because the tears could not be checked. Therefore, they smeared their tears in their eyes and their hearts throbbed. Therefore, ladies who were the wives and daughters-in-law of those who died in the battlefield never came in direct contact with Krishna, but all of them heard of him and his great activities, and thus they thought of him, talked of him, his name, fame, etc., and became affectionate also, like those who were in direct contact. Therefore, directly or indirectly, anyone who thinks of Krishna, talks of Krishna, or worships Krishna becomes attached to him. Because Krishna is absolute, there is no difference between his name, form, quality, etc. Our intimate relation with Krishna can be confidentially revived by our talking of, hearing of, or remembering him. It is so done due to spiritual potency. Thus ends the wonderful transcendental Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Jnanatimrandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Actually, this portion of Bhagavatam which we are discussing, the departure of Krishna to Dwaraka, has got very interesting and powerful verses, including this one, which are very deceptively simple. They look very simple, but the import and the depth that these verses carry are worth fathoming. I mean, it is beyond our comprehension, probably beyond my comprehension. So wonderful. So the verse goes like this. Nirundhan udgalat vaspam autkanthyat devaki sute niryati agaran no bhadram iti syad bandhava striyaha. Nirundhan, the word which is used is by Prabhupada is checking with great difficulty, Nirundhan. When do you try to check some emotions? Imagine, there is a loss of somebody who is very near and dear to you. Somebody with whom you have spent all your life. Very dear. You love to spend time with him or her. And he's no more. We hear some people who die because of something not related to us, but the death is so tragic. Somebody very young, the only earning member. Some such things, unexpected manner. It creates some kind of, it's very difficult to describe in English words, but it creates some kind of, there is the emotions are swelling up. And they are trying to control. Nirundhan. Nirundhan. Bhagavatam's use of words are so powerful. Nirundhan Udgalat Vaspam. Vaspam is translated by Prabhupada as tears. But Vaspam is more than tears. These are things which have swelled up. They have built up. It's like pent up of things. There are things which you have been brooding, which you have been thinking, and all that thing has come into the fruition when Krishna is leaving. Nirundhan Udgalat Vaspam. Udgalat is overflowing. Nirundhan Udgalat Vaspam Outkantyat Devaki Sute. Outkantyat. Devaki Sute is Krishna. So, Outkantyat Devaki Sute. Outkantyat is great anxiety. There is this word used in Bhagavatam in 2nd canto, where Narad Muni says, because he is holding on to the lotus feet of Krishna very tightly, Hridaya Outkanthyavat Dhrito Hari. Na bharati me ango mrishopalakshate, na vai kvachin me manaso mrishagati, na me hrishikani patanti asatpathe, yan me hrido outkantyavata dhrito hari, na bharati me ango mrishopalakshate. Na bharati me ango is Narad Muni, ango mrishopalakshate, na bharati. My statements never go false. Navai kvachin me manaso mrishagati. My mind never get distracted. Name rishikani patanti asatpathe. My senses never fluctuate, never get deviated. This is what Narad Muni is saying. So confidently. Why? How? Yan me hrido outkantyavata dhrito hari. Dhrito hari. Dhrita Rashtra is the word that we all know from Bhagavad Gita. Dhrita. Dhrita is who's holding tightly. Who's holding tightly to what? Rashtra. Rashtra means what? Kingdom. At any cost. But this is Dhrito Hari. Narad Muni is telling, I am holding on to the lotus feet of Krishna with great zeal. Outkanthyavat. That is why my words never become false. My mind never gets deviated. My senses never, fall from the right path. They're always there in control. Why? Hridaya Outkanthyavat Dhrito Hari. So this word is used here, Outkantyat. Nirundhan Udgalat Vaspam. Nirundhan, trying to control that emotions which is building up, swelling up. Nirundhan Udgalat. Udgalat is overflowing. Imagine you're feeling the pain, the grief so much. The tears is about to come in. You just want to cry, burst out, but you're trying to control. Nirundhan Udgalat Vaspam Outkanthya Devaki Sute. Niryati Agaran. Niryati is to come out. Come out of what? Agaran. Agara means house, palace. Prabhupada uses this word Agara many places. Jara, Jaya, Sutta, Agara, Pasu, Dravinam. In third canto, I think there is a mention of that, where we get attached to all these things. Also, Maithuna Agara. This material world is called Maithuna Agara. It's a place where we are shackled by the sex desire. Agara, place or abode or house where we stay. Niryati Agaran. This ladies came out of their house. Niryati, they came out of their house. Agaran, no Bhadram. And Nirundhan, they are trying to control. They are trying to control this crying. Why they are trying to control? Because they are thinking, Abhadram, this is inauspicious. Niryati Agaran, no Bhadram. Iti Syad Bandhavastriya. Bandhavastriya. They are relatives of Krishna, may not be. Prabhupada in the purport says that they might not have even seen. There are some people who have died in the battlefield, but they've all heard about Krishna. And look at the maturity that they are showing in bhakti. It's amazing, actually. Now, to visualize what Prabhupada is saying or what this purport is saying, I was trying to search for one appropriate painting. And I found this one. So, just spend some time in looking at this. There are some elephants. Okay, there is somebody who's sitting on the elephant. Krishna, almost you can see, is about to board his chariot. There is one lady who's standing here with folded hands. Probably you may not be able to see very clearly, but if you search for this image in Google, you'll see that there are more ladies who are standing on the terrace. Right? There are many of them who are standing there. Right? And with folded hands, they are waiting, they are seeing Krishna to depart. Right? Actually, the presentation of Bhagavatam, the presentation of Srila Prabhupada, is not some ordinary sequence of events which happens. In subtle ways, they bring out some very powerful nuances of devotion. And this verse is also like that. To appreciate this more, or to grasp this, you see this picture which I am trying to share. You have to think just one day, right? Imagine the sun is beginning to rise in the city of Hastinapur. The streets are silent, but the air is heavy. Why the air is heavy? Not because of there is some noise, because of emotions. What emotion? Our beloved Krishna, the lifeline. Krishna is leaving. Krishna, as we saw in the previous verses, who was there in Hastinapur for months, maybe for years, maybe 1 or 2 years, I don't know, for months for sure, it is mentioned in Bhagavatam. He was walking in those corridors. He was smiling upon the kings and the queens with equal grace. He was healing their wounded hearts. That Krishna is now living. So he steps into the palace courtyard. His chariot is waiting. The sounds of conches or the mantras being chanted. But amidst all this divine orchestra, there is another music which is going on. The music is the sound of suppressed tears. Tears which want to come out. The tears which they're trying to hide, just wants to come out. And the palace ladies, they stand at the doorway, eyes moist, glistening, but lips sealed, hands folded. This is not weep. This is not something like, we express. It's not some loud expression of this thing. Very silent. Not because the pain is absent, but because their love for Krishna is so deep and intense. They would rather swallow their own sorrow than do something which might be inauspicious for Krishna's departure. Let no disturbance reach him because of our pain. This is what they are thinking. You see, this is extremely powerful, very, very powerful. Right? In our way of engaging in devotional service, where we chant every day Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare is the vocative address to the energy of the Lord, to the internal energy of the Lord. O Hara, O Hare, O energy of the Lord, O Krishna, O Rama, please engage me in your service. And when we get engaged in service, what do? We ensure, we make it a point, either people should know that I have done this, I seek that the due recognition comes to me, or if there is any pain, grievance in that, I ensure every nook and corner, every single living entity, every chara achara knows that how much of difficulty I went through to get this thing done. Isn't it? You may or may not agree, but that's the truth. But look at this Puravasis, this Purastris, Hastinapur Stris. They don't have direct contact with the Lord also. But what they are exhibiting is practical demonstration of true devotion to Krishna. They are great teachers of bhakti. Prabhupada, once when he was in Vrindavan, he was actually criticized by one Sanskrit professor, saying that your devotees don't chant the mantras properly. They don't know Sanskrit well. Prabhupada said, okay, why don't you join our ashram and teach these devotees how to chant Hare Krishna mantra, how to chant these Vedic mantras. So, and then Prabhupada continued further that there won't be any tea and coffee for you in the morning. So then the person said, well, they're not chanting that bad also. They're okay. Right. So, Krishna consciousness is not about knowing some concepts, chanting some mantras. It's about transformation of heart. It's about transforming our character, mindset, thinking, action. It's all about practical action. What we do mostly is to show someone that I have done. This is my devotee dress. I am now in kurta, dhoti, tilak, and this thing. So I am supposed to act in a particular way. But the moment that devotee dress is removed, not physically, maybe somehow if it is gone, I do behave in a very different way. But look at this Puravasis, Purastris. What maturity of devotion, what is it? It is very subtle. It is not loud at all. But one has to feel this. One can see, and the purport which Prabhupada has written. In fact, in all these verses, if leading up to this verse, there are wonderful, wonderful purports which Prabhupada has given. I was just seeing, just when hearing this classes for last few days. There is one verse which comes, 1.10 point. 1.10.3, okay, that it is mentioned, Nisamya bhismuktam atha chitoktam prabhritta vijnana vidhuta vibhrama satsan gam indra ivajitashrayah parishrut paridhyuta pantam. In fact, my eyesight is becoming poor. Anujana ubritataha. This verse, the third verse of this this chapter, it is mentioned Maharaj Yudhishthir, after being enlightened by what was spoken by Bhismadev and Lord Sri Krishna, the infallible, engaged himself in matters of perfect knowledge, because all his misgivings were eradicated. Thus he ruled over the earth and seas and was followed by his younger brothers. When you read certain verses, there are certain verses which immediately strike you that you have heard and read. When I was seeing this verse, and when the translation I was reading, there is one verse which comes very immediately, and this verse is so nice, so profound. Maharaj Yudhishthir, after being enlightened by what was spoken by Bhishma Dev and Lord Sri Krishna, mind you, Maharaj Yudhishthir heard both from Bhishma Dev and Lord Sri Krishna. He was enlightened. Sri Krishna, who is the infallible, engaged himself in matters of perfect knowledge because all his misgivings were eradicated. Thus he ruled over the earth and seas and was followed by his younger brothers. Anybody, any verse that comes to you? Why anything that you can think of which comes because of this verse? No? Very interesting verse, and you will see how closely they are related, and how this knowledge which we are trying to acquire, what is the effect? What is the end result of this knowledge? The verse comes in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, Tad Viddhi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya Upadekshanti Te Jnanam Jnaninas Tattvadarshina. We all know this verse. This verse comes one verse after this. Tadviddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. You approach a bona fide spiritual master, submissively render devotional service and inquire from him. He can show you the truth because he's a tattvadarshi. What happens when you receive this knowledge from a bona fide spiritual master is given in the next verse. And what is that verse? That verse is, Yaj gyatva na punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutani aseshani drakshasi atmani athomai. Yaj gyatva na punarmoham. Once you know this transcendental knowledge, there is no question of moham again. No, na punarmoham. Yaj gyatva na punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava. What else happens? Yena bhutani aseshani drakshasi atmani atomai. Yena bhutani aseshani, all these living entities, you start seeing them as yourself. Atmani atomai. And drakshasi is to see, and you see that they are all part and parcel of Krishna. This is what happens. This is exactly what Yudhishthira also, when he got enlightened, he started ruling the kingdom, but because all his misgivings were eradicated, thus he ruled over the earth and seas and was followed by his younger brothers with the same view. If we properly receive the transcendental knowledge in the right manner, as it is given in these books, as it is revealed in the scriptures and given very wonderfully by Srila Prabhupada, moha will go. Na punarmoham. Yajgyatva na punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava. Yena bhutani asheshani drakshasi atmani atomai. Yena bhutani, all these living entities, we will see them as part and parcel of Krishna, and atomai, like us, we will see them. Few verses later I was seeing, this chapter is full of wonderful verses. There is this, at the same time, Subhadra, Draupadi, Kunti, Uttara, Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, Yuyutsu, Kripacharya, Nakula, Sahadev, Bhimasena, Dhaumya, Satyavati, all nearly fainted because it was impossible for them to bear the separation. And in that purport, Prabhupada writes about the verse which I was quoting yesterday, how Krishna's activities and pastimes and his glories, his character is so attractive. We all know that verse, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives 61 explanations. Atma Ramascha Munayo Nirgrantha Api Urukrame Kurbanti Ahetukim Bhaktim Itham Bhuta Guno Hare. Atmaram who is self-satisfied. In one place Prabhupada is writing, a person who is satisfied by satisfying the self-satisfied, because Atmaram is the Lord himself. who's satisfied by satisfying the self-satisfied. There is no dissatisfaction. Atma Ramascha Munayo Nirgrantha Api Urukrame. Munayo is a thoughtful sage who gets some pleasure by doing some kind of speculation. Or Nirgrantha Api Urukrame. Urukrame is the Lord who performs some wonderful activities. Kurbanti ahetukim bhaktim. Unmotivated. There is no desire why they are engaging in devotional service, but the Lord's qualities, activities and pastimes, guna, itham bhuta guno hare, so attractive that people naturally engage in his devotional service. But the verse which comes immediately after that is more powerful than, not more powerful, I shouldn't say like that, but is more important for sadhakas like us, of the verse which comes immediately after Atmaram verse. Anybody knows what is that verse? I don't know the full verse, but it's a very beautiful verse. And the verse has a very important thing to remember and meditate, and then we will see from this verse. These are all build-up, which is bringing us to this point where these devotees are exhibiting something which is so powerful. This verse is one of the favorite verses of Chanchalpati Prabhu. He loves this verse, and I have asked him many times the meaning of this verse. The verse is Harer Guna Kshiptamatir. Harer Guna Kshiptamatir Bhagavan Badarayana Adhyagan Mahadakhyanam Nityam Vishnu Janapriya. Harer Guna Kshiptamatir Bhagavan Badarayana. So this Sukadev Goswami, who was a monist, who was an impersonalist, he was Atmaram, he was self-satisfied. A Jnani also can be Atmaram. But when he heard this beautiful, wonderful qualities of Krishna, he started reading Bhagavatam. So what happens when somebody reads Bhagavatam? Oh, then the qualities of Krishna become very attractive to that person. Harer Guna Kshiptamatir Bhagavan Badarayani. Badarayani is actually Sukadev Goswami. He's addressed as Bhagavan. Bhagavan Badarayani Harer Guna Kshiptamatir. Akshipta, being absorbed. Guna, qualities. So when somebody reads properly Bhagavatam, the purpose of Bhagavatam is not to finish. The purpose of reading Bhagavatam is not to, maybe memorize some Sanskrit slokas. Harer Guna Kshiptamatir. One gets attracted to Krishna. And because these qualities of Krishna are so attractive. Harer Guna Kshiptamatir Bhagavan Badarayani Adhyagan Mahadakhyanam. As more you read, more you get attracted to Krishna. But there is something else that also happens. Nityam Vishnu Jana Priya. How do people form friendship? Telugu wala? Bhavanara? Chalo, Bhagavadar. You don't eat gulab jamun? I also don't eat gulab jamun. We're friends. You live in US? I'm also in the US. We become friend. But here, Bhagavatam is telling us another way of developing friendship. Nityam Vishnu Jana Priya. Oh, we should see in the devotees how much of attraction he has for Krishna. How he is so attracted. How he is getting that attraction should attract us. That is what is called Vishnu Jana Priya. Harer Guna Kshiptamatir Bhagavan Badarayani. The more we read the purports of Prabhupada, the more we understand. The simple verse, what is that? Krishna is living there shedding tears. They were trying to control. No. The more we read, we get attracted to Krishna. That attraction, if the basis of friendship is looking at that devotee who's attracted to Krishna in so nice way, that is an eternal, permanent friendship than something which is based on material, this thing. Oh, these people also, they like to play harmonium. I also like to play harmonium. Let's be friends. Doesn't last long. Harer Guna Kshiptamatir Bhagavan Badarayani Adhyagan Mahadakhyanam Nityam Vishnu Jana Priya. The whole purpose of coming in association of devotees is, as you know, in Bhagavad Gita it is mentioned, Matchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayantah Parasparam Kathayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. Matchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayant. How do we nourish? Nourishment doesn't come by nice, comfortable living or eating some palatable food or anything of that sort. It comes by relishing Krishna Katha. This is what is happening. The strees, the women, the ladies of Hastinapur, they have not seen, there was no direct contact. They've heard about the glories of Krishna. They've heard about the wonderful activities and the pastimes of Krishna. And they're having so much of emotions, pent-up emotions inside. Oof, Krishna is leaving. This is the effect of hearing Krishna, chanting his names, glories, or directly coming. There's no difference because Krishna is absolute. So, bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. When two devotees come, and if the center of their discussion is Krishna, matchitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam, they speak about me, tushyanti cha. They become satisfied and then nourish the other person. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. In Bhagavatam, there is another verse which comes, which is very, very, very powerful, and it says what else happens when we come in association of devotees. And that's worth paying attention. That verse is... Paraspara anukathanam pavanam bhagavatyasa mitho ratir mithastushtir nivrittir mitha atmana. Is it just simply because there are so many things to anyway discuss? Instead of choosing to discuss about what's going on, like why did Trump decide to bomb Iran, let's discuss about Harikatha. Anyway, we're all devotees, we are supposed to discuss Harikatha. What else we can do? No. Paraspara anukathanam pavanam bhagavatyasa. Pavanam means it's purifying. Paraspara is mutual. Anukathanam, when we are discussing. Paraspara anukathanam pavanam bhagavatyasa. When the glories of the Lord are discussed, then it is purifying. Mitho ratir. Mitha, the word mitha means mutual. There is an attraction. Like I was telling, Nitya Vishnu Jana Priya. So there is an attraction for Krishna that I have. It is at a certain level, but when I am discussing with another devotee who's more attracted, who's more inclined to practice this Krishna, my attraction for Krishna also increases. Mitho ratir. Mitha tushtir. I also experience satisfaction, mutual satisfaction. Nivrittir mitha atmana. Nivrittir. This material miseries, there is a cessation. Nivrittir mitha atmanaha. For the soul, there is a cessation of material miseries which will happen by paraspara anukathanam. Very powerful, this association of devotees. Very, very powerful. But unfortunately, we don't take advantage of it. And the basis of our friendship is not the attraction for hearing Krishna Katha. It's something else. That is why many people take this Bhagavatam reading or hearing as a ritual. I think it is an activity to be performed. Something on a Sunday, if I miss it, what is the big deal? It's a very big deal. At least one Sunday, very big deal. Big deal. Everything else you can sacrifice, but don't sacrifice this Krishna Katha. It's very powerful. So, to develop that kind of a intense feeling inside, like this, the women of Hastinapur, what is it required? And what is it that stops us? And what can we learn from this? So I was trying to see something from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's this thing, where he's telling that what prevents us, even though we have taken up to this path of devotion, why we don't get that same kind of intensity, the seriousness, like we see or we hear or we aspire to? Where does things go wrong? So it's very nicely it is mentioned. Actually, taking of Krishna consciousness is very easy. There is one verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is in Madhya Lila, if I'm not wrong, 12th chapter, 135th verse. Very, 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 very beautiful verse. Actually, a very long purport of Prabhupada. But that long purport of Prabhupada talks about a laundry list of things that we should get rid of. We should cleanse ourselves of. If we really want to practice devotion and take advantage of this human life the proper way, we understand, but the seriousness lacks, and we get carried away here and there, we get distracted, intensity reduces, and we don't know what to do, then we somehow carry on. There is no taste, there is no feeling inside. This verse of, the particular verse that I'm talking about, it talks about Gundicha Marjana, right? How Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself was so meticulously and so carefully he was cleansing that Gundicha temple. And that purport is one of the finest purports you will find. Beautiful purport by Prabhupada. He explains everything. The process of cleansing the heart is very simple. That is chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. But the application is very difficult. Very difficult application. Why? Because initially when we come in touch with devotees, Adho Shraddha, we have a little faith, we come and we find that this is very nice, this process is nice, chanting of Hare Krishna is nice, prasadam is nice, everything is nice. So, Adho Shraddha, the Sadhu Sangha, then we associate with devotees, and then devotees are also taking very nice things, and we feel, oh, very nice, kirtan, everything good, great. And then comes Bhajana Kriya, we start following some regulations, rules and regulations. We also see that we have the great fortune of taking initiation from a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada. Wonderful, we grab it. Then enters the villain. Who's the villain? The villain is we ourselves. I am only the biggest villain in my own life. What happens? Anartha nivriti. That's where the problem comes. What is the problem? Who's the villain? What problem is coming? Problem comes is because I'm very deeply convinced, strongly rooted, I am this body. I am my mind. I am my intelligence. I am my false ego. Very strong. And we are hearing that we are Krishna's servant. I am eternally servant of Krishna. Mamaivamsa jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Goal of life is to attain Krishna prem. And there is a confusion, there is a conflict. And it is very difficult to go past this unless we are introspective. Look within the heart. Look what we are looking for. What are we seeking here? Bhaktivinoda Thakur puts it as, and this is called Tattva Vibhrama. The stage of Anartha Nivriti where people struggle is called Tattva Vibhrama, and there are 4 kinds of Vibhramas, or 4 kinds of the confusions happen inside the person's heart. The first one is called Jiva Swarupa Vibhrama. Jiva Swarupa Vibhrama means, constitutionally I understand that I am a spirit soul. Mamevamsa jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manashashtani indriyani prakritistani karsati. Or in simple words, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jiver swarup hai nitya Krishna das. But I am thinking I am the boss. Das doesn't look good. Boss mein jo maja hai. Shyam Prabhu, kitna अच्छा लगता है. बोलो बोलो. सब लोग बोलते हैं Sadananda Prabhu, Sadananda Prabhu, Sadananda Prabhu, Sadananda Prabhu. And you hear that Prabhu, Prabhu, Prabhu so many times, you also forget that you are also addressing others as Prabhu. That means you are a servant, but you feel like I am the boss. I am Prabhu. Right? I am supposed to be, I have been there for so long. Right? I am Prabhu. And then that whole idea that I am a Das goes into somewhere else. And there is a tendency of becoming controller and enjoyer. Sometimes people say, oh, the festival was so nice. It was so nice. Prasadam was great. Kirtan, great. Very nice. Actually, the whole idea of coming to Krishna consciousness is I want to give up that enjoyer mentality. So does it mean that if somebody says prasadam is good, it is wrong? Or kirtan is good? No. The problem is we choose. This kirtan was good. I was not good. Bro, वो पनीर वाला सब्जी है ना? क्यों? अच्छा है पनीर सब्जी. There lies the enjoyer mentality. There is an enjoyment that can be enjoyed, being enjoyed, and there is an enjoyment that can be enjoyed by being enjoyer. And we often miss that, and we look for that same enjoyer mentality, and that is called Jiva Swarup Vibhrama. Then comes Paratattva Brahma, Paratattva Vibhrama or Paratattva Brahma. What happens is when we come to Krishna consciousness, we feel that Krishna is meant to fulfill all my desires. I am big devotee. Saal se I'm chanting for so long. I'm a heavy lifter. I'm doing so many services. It's your responsibility, Krishna, that you should fulfill all my desires. Doesn't happen. Doesn't happen in that way. This material world is full of difficulties, miseries. There are problems in every step of our life. The plans are meant to be thwarted. We have to learn to remember Krishna in those times. Then that vipatti becomes sampatti. There is a verse which Prabhupada quotes from Padma Purana where Lord Shiva says, I don't remember exactly, that difficulties, if you feel that difficulties have come in your life and you feel surprised, then you must be a fool, right? You're meant to. This is material world. You are supposed to get that. But do you have the right knowledge, intelligence to remember the Lord in those difficult times and accept it? This is called Paratattva Brahma. We expect that Krishna is supposed to fulfill all desires, whatever I want. Then there is Sadhya Sadhana Vibhrama. Sadhya Sadhana Vibhrama means our goal is something. We have understood Krishna, Prema Pumartha Mahan. But when we come to devotional life, when we realize that no, Prema Pumartha pehle position lena hai. I want to become a controller. So many devotees are under me. I have cultivated these devotees. These are my devotees. I don't want to. How come he is asking? This temple president is making my life difficult. Prema Pumartha Mahan is our goal, but we seek positions. We seek controlling this thing. So that goal, what we are here for, that we forget. And then we will, nowhere it is mentioned by getting some bigger positions, by having some bigger this thing, you'll achieve Krishna Prem. No. Sadhya Sadhana Vibhrama. Then there is Bhajana Vriddhasya Vibhrama. The thing which are obstacles in our bhajana. Without our knowledge, somehow, even though we are in Krishna consciousness, we get attached to many material things, which are we are supposed to go in this way, but we get attached to these things. We go in another way. I'm such a big preacher, I need to have a nice mobile, responsible, I'm doing that service. It's required for my service, or a nice laptop, or something, some other things. So that is called Sadhya Sadhana Vibhrama. So we are supposed to actually give up our taste for material things. The advancement of Krishna consciousness, as Prabhupada mentions in various places, the test of it is very simple. How much of desire you have to hear Krishna Gatha? How much have you developed that? You don't need to go and ask, oh, this person, how much of desire, how much of autkantya you have. Vayam tu na vitrupyama ya uttama shloka vikrame ya shrunvatam rasagyanam swadu swadu pade pade. These are the sages, when they are talking to Sutta Goswami, they are saying, Vayam tu na vitrupyama, we are never satiated. Vayam tu na vitrupyama ya uttama shloka vikrame. Oh, the activities of Krishna, uttama shloka, who's glorified in choicest words, are so wonderful. Uttama shloka. For us, Prabhu, ये verse तो हो चुका है. We have already known we are not body, we are spirit, soul. Krishna book we have read so many times. We've known something new. Vayam tu na vitrupyama. These are sages saying we are never satiated. Vayam tu na vitrupyama ya uttama shloka vikrame yashrunvatam rasagyanam. When we hear that, it is not only relishing me, it is also giving me spiritual knowledge. Yashranvatam rasagyanam swadu swadu pade pade. Oh, it's so relishable. In the conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai in Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking Ramananda Rai, please explain, please talk to me about this. So when he's asking this to Ramananda Rai says, I can't speak. Actually, I am, because of your presence, I am able to speak. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, no, I am a Mayavadi sannyasi. What I have heard, I got purified by association of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, but he said the real truth lies with Ramananda Rai. Actually, we all know what is the truth. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. He only transformed Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is taking a humble position with an eagerness to hear. And in those purports, Prabhupada mentions whether we are seeking respect in devotional life or we are seeking relish in devotional life. There is a difference. Whether you are seeking respect in devotional, you are seeking respect in devotional life, you will get it. You go on saying that, I have done this, and people will give you respect and you will go. But if you are looking for relish, develop the humility. Trinadapi sunijena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. So that is why when this tattva vibhrama happens, then it leads to offenses. And there are 4 kinds of offenses. First is nama parad, which we chant like parrot in the morning. 10 offenses against the holy name. You ask somebody, 5th offense, Prabhu, pehle se start karenge? You start from beginning, I will come to the 5th one. Directly you shouldn't ask 5th offense and 6th offense. First offense, to blaspheme the devotees of then you'll 5th offense, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna. You ask them 5th offense and say, oh, we have to meditate on those offenses. Nama parad. Then what is the sign? Seva aparad. We do so many offenses against the deities are non-different. They are the Supreme Personality of Godhead standing before us casually, something not clean, not suchi. Seva aparad. Nama aparad, seva aparad. Then tadiya aparad. Shiva says, aradhanam api sarvesham, Vishnor aradhanam param. What is it? Parataram tadiyanam samarchanam. But even superior to that is the worship of the tadiya, the paraphernalia of the Lord, which includes like, you go to a dham, you have to be careful, it's a dham. Or you're taking bath in some Ganges or Yamuna, we pay obeisances. These are all tadiyas. Tulasi Maharani, you have to be so careful. Or the Vaishnavas, Vaishnava Parad, that's a big this thing. So, and the final one is Jiva Aparad. Aparad against another living entity in obstructing his progress in Krishna consciousness. Some way or other, impeding his this thing, trying to do some violence, or whatever those things. So these 4 aparads we commit, and then the heart becomes hard, and there are weaknesses in the heart which develops, and then the heart should become so soft, it should melt. Like the previous verse it is mentioned, I think it was like a melting pot by the attraction towards Krishna, but the heart is something else is going on, contemplation about why this happened, what this happened, and then the attraction to Krishna is not happening, which is exhibited by this simple ladies of Hastinapur, but they're great bhakti acharyas, powerful exhibit. Bhakti has to transform in our behavior, not in some, not in some kind of sentiment or intellectual this thing. It has to manifest in our behavior, and this is what this verse is talking about. I'll stop here and see if you have any questions or comments. Yes, bro. You mentioned, 4 vibhamas. Tattva vibhrama is the title I gave. There are 4. It starts with Jiva Swarupa vibhrama, Paratattva vibhrama, Sadhya Sadhana vibhrama, and Bhajana Vriddhasya vibhrama. We'll stop. Yeah. By? Yeah, while doing your services, you should remember for whom you are doing. Let's say, Prabhupada gives this example. Suppose you have a girlfriend, suppose. So you want to know everything about her. What's her liking, what she wears, what color, what perfume, where she wants to go, everything. So when you know more about her, then even if, like that example which Prabhupada gives, like somebody, the mother, when she sees the shoes or the socks of the baby when the baby has gone to the school, it reminds him of the baby. The more you know about Krishna, the more you have heard about him, the more the service that you are doing, you will realize that this is for Krishna, and while doing the service, it will automatically remind you. It's for Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Manusmara Yuddhecha. This is what Krishna is telling. Not only when you are reading Bhagavatam or sitting in a Bhagavatam class, you should remember, after that over. Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Manusmara Yuddhecha Mai Arpita Mano Buddhir Mam Eveshyasi Satyamte. So, including all times, including when we are doing some services, so anything. Actually, people ask this question, Prabhu, how do we balance material life and spiritual life? One question they generally ask. Actually, there is no material life at all. Where is the material life for us? So then what does that mean? So then does it mean that we should not do any activities that we are doing? How will we live? No, you live. There are this Navavidha Bhakti, which we are directly engaging in Krishna's service, right? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, all those are there. The other time, whatever you are doing, it should be dovetailed in Krishna's service. That's it. There is no material life. It just because our concept is, this is compartmentalized, that I will do Krishna, Shravana and Smarana in one time, after that I will forget. That's where the problem comes. That should be only one phase of ours. There is, the devotee means he is like this. That's it. Whether you are here, you are in outside, whether you are in some place, in airport, in train station, patal, एक ही phase है उसका. And Krishna Smarana is possible. We'll stop here and continue to see this wonderful chapter. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Srila Prabhupada.